So greetings, friends and followers. This is Nurses Talking. I am Dale Barcy. And if you like what you see and hear, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. Here on Nurses Talking, we speak to nurses anywhere in the world at any stage in their nursing journey, from students to retirees. And today I'm very pleased to welcome Jasmin Nesbitt out of Ontario, Canada. Jasmin is a registered nurse and she is an entrepreneur. Welcome, Jasmin.
Hi, Dale. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. You're welcome. I'm very pleased you were able to do this. Now, I know that you are originally from the Philippines, right?
Yes.
And so a couple of questions I wanted to ask. Number one is, what made you become a nurse? Why are you a nurse?
Yes, it's a very interesting uh, beginning of really trying to find out what I wanted to become, what I wanted to be in career wise. But I think it all kind of it kind of got molded from when I was young. I always admired nurses. I remember in high school, our school was nearby a hospital, and I was very um, attentive and kind of like observant to what nurses do. And there was just something about them, with the white hat and the uniforms. And it was very interesting to me that, I see myself as like one of them one of these days. But although in the Philippines, I pursued a different career. And thankfully, I was able to study nursing here in Canada, and I was very fortunate that I had the opportunity to do that. So I was very glad. But there was just something about the nurse's hat that kind of drew me into wanting to be a nurse.
All right, so you answered one of the questions I was going to ask, because I was going to ask if you became a nurse in the Philippines or in Canada. So
Yes.
moving to Canada and becoming a nurse in Canada, were there any challenges for you in that?
Yes, actually, that was very, very challenging time times of my life, actually, because I was very new in the country. And I was dealing with very stressful situation. Had a there was a time in my life that, I wasn't feeling it was for me, right? So aside from the fact that I went through or pursued nursing education in here in the Western country, my English wasn't the best that time. I was speaking Bisaya, Tagalog in the Philippines, and being not that we don't have English
I know.
education back home, but it's different when that's all you
Yeah,
use, it's the primary
right.
language, right? And the fact that you have to face the reality of, now I have to survive, create a life here in Canada, and build a career, right? At the time, I was a single parent, and the stressful a fact of being in nursing school, experiencing emotional struggles of being a single
Yeah.
parent, single mom. Am I being a good mom, or should I pick my career and or focus on being just a mom?
Mom, yeah.
And what about being able to provide for my son, right? Like, how far can I go, right? As
Yeah.
in career wise. So those are the biggest challenges: lack of financial support, right? And also after that, so going through nursing school, that was the biggest challenge. And then the next phase of challenges that I faced when I became a nurse was that, and this, Dale, this happens to all of us, right? And it's probably not just happening in nursing. Uh the stress that we deal with,
Yeah.
on top of that, we go through some sort of workplace violence.
Amazing. And yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Workplace violence. And I'm not sure if you agree with me, but I have a hard time accepting the fact in my nursing career up to this day, how nurses eat their young.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I find is that the biggest thing is the bullying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And for me, bullying is some sort of workplace violence. It's an act of a workplace violence. I'm I'm finding that kind of very, very common in the
It is
healthcare
it is
setting.
very common in healthcare, and it is as you say, it is workplace violence. I am curious though as to why it is so prevalent. What is it? Does it come from because we are always expecting to be stressed by, or we're always in a stressful situation? What actually spawns this? Because yeah, you're right. I don't think that the bullying is unique to
Mhm.
healthcare. It's not at all unique to healthcare, but it's very prevalent in healthcare. And for me, I'm very curious to find out why it is so prevalent. Why almost I can speak to almost every nurse I speak to will
It's
tell you that
true.
they've experienced it on some level.
It's
And
true.
so,
Yeah.
if we're bullying one another, then that must on some level carry over into the way we treat our patients. It must.
Very much true. And also too, we take that home with us. The more and more we are exposed to it, the more we become kind of, numb, and
Yeah.
we don't know anymore if this is really what we want, if we
Mm-hmm.
pick the right career.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest challenge that I have, that I see, I can never imagine continuing on seeing, right, and
Yeah.
being a nurse.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
hopefully it will change one of these days, because
I I
there's so
hope
many shortage everywhere.
Yeah, I hope so. But I also believe that until we can find out exactly what spawns this, we can't fix it. Um, Someone said to me the other day, it's not it's about the person. When if you're bullied, you really you internalize it. You feel like it's about you. You feel like somebody's picking on you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that is true up to a certain extent. But it's
Mm-hmm.
also about the person, or more so about the person who's doing the bullying.
Mm-hmm.
There is something that is making them be so uh, obnoxious, for want of a better word, to other people. And what is making them so? What is it that's problem? Is it? It cannot just be
I am
outside influences.
I'm sure it's all, it's about, because if you really take a look at the root, of how, how it all starts, right?
Mhm.
A lot of these bullies, a lot of them, they have some sort of power, right? They have at some point either, experience, they have a power, they have, a title, right?
Mhm.
Whatever it is, and it's, I think it's a lot of it is like the feeling of, um it gives him the feeling of power over somebody. And if you really want to reverse psychology, it is not, because every time you humiliate someone, that person's level of respect towards you diminishes.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah. Absolutely. 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 But can I? So, do you think though, that there could be, as you mentioned, typically these are people in authority, people who are supervisors and managers and things like that.
Mhm.
Could there be a level of insecurity in them, in that job, that
Mhm.
they really use this bullying as a way that you don't see how insecure they feel in
Possible.
that position?
It's possible. And you only, the saddest thing is that you only realize that when you become also experienced, right? But what
Yeah,
about the young ones? What
exactly.
about those that just got in and just want to
Hmm.
fit in,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
How
yeah.
are they going to survive? Because I had a hard time,
Oh yeah, I know, been there.
right? How are they going to survive? And then you see so many people. I'm one of them, you know, that leaving the profession, and it's a shame because it's such a great career, right?
Yeah.
And you can do so much more,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's just one of those people that you see going a different route or changing a career path,
Yeah.
experience some sort of that
Yeah.
type of
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah. Yeah. And the problem is that several years ago, sometime years ago, you didn't have all of these many opportunities within the
Mm-hmm.
nursing profession. You could branch off too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's so many opportunities. There's so many places and
Mm-hmm.
in so many different areas that you can use your skills and your
Exactly.
education that you really don't have to put up with it. There was a time
Deal
when
with it.
people put up with it because they had to.
Yes. And now you can have your own practice.
Yeah, yeah,
All you have to
indeed.
do is get a different, get what is this, dermatology, whatever,
Yes,
NP.
yes, you become a
You can
just
do so much,
advanced
or
practice and yeah.
even better, have your own business.
Even better, have your own business. Lovely segue. Nice segue. So I know that you have your own business, and I know that it has to do with actually helping nurses in your own way. So tell us about it.
Yes. Yes. So I decided during the course of the pandemic that I wanted to pursue on my passion, which I consider as my mission and my purpose as of being a nurse. I feel that each one of us, in any career type or level of your career, you'll find that as you get older and as you get more experience, you start to question, and even younger nurses, they start to question, okay, you know what? I want to go for maybe
Yeah,
maternity
yeah,
nursing
yeah,
or ER or ICU, right?
yes,
I'm not happy here. I want to go and get my degree and become an NP, right?
yeah,
For me, I found my purpose as a nurse. I questioned myself throughout my nursing career that, you know what, there's something missing, and I couldn't really figure it out until I work in the emergency department, and I discovered that we are missing some tool as nurses. We have to be more efficient, and we have to be able to make our use of our time
yeah,
wisely. And for us to do that, we have to be equipped with the right tools, right? And so I developed a toolkit or a tool bag that will carry all nurses' tools. At any given time, at any patient, you need one specific or sets of tools, and you put that tools in that specific toolkit, and you carry that with you to each patient room, and you save time. And I discovered that 7 years ago when I was working or a brand new ER nurse. So my background is ICU, and I changed to emergency.
mm-hmm.
And after being on your feet for almost the entire duration of your shift,
Mm-hmm.
I discovered that, you know what, I am using my time very, inefficiently here. There's something. So I made one for myself, and I'll show you. Here it is. So there's my tool bag right there.
Yeah, okay,
So
very cool.
in a nutshell, it carries all your tools, and it's great. And I make them look kind of cool.
Yeah, they
So
are
that
very cool.
nurses deserve some, you know, fashion statement at
Pretty
work.
stuff.
Who
Yeah,
says that we can't have a statement while at work, right?
exactly, exactly.
So that's where I gave most of my time with. I try to work with nursing organizations, nursing unions, and yeah, so I enjoy it. I enjoy it.
Well, I am absolutely certain that nurses find that very useful.
Well, thank you.
Because, as you say, if you put all your stuff in it, for one thing, it makes you be more efficient in your use of your time, but
Yes,
also it helps you to present a more professional appearance, a more professional look to your
yes,
patients, that you're not running
yes.
back and forth every 5 minutes to get something. So, uh, You
Yes,
look
yes.
organized and professional, so that's cool.
Very much, yes. Patients find that very helpful, especially when they see you come prepared.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not digging for a pen, you don't have a pen. So, and hopefully, it will get to the States one of these days. I'm
Yeah.
working towards that.
Absolutely, absolutely. There are ways.
Yes, and I'll find it.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. So, question though, we talked a little bit about becoming a nurse, education, what it costs you in terms of time and energy and money and stuff like that to become a nurse. What and your purpose and finding your purpose in becoming
Mhm.
a nurse. What
Mhm.
advice would you give to someone who says to you, Jasmine, I'm thinking of being a nurse?
I would advise that person to listen to your intuition, listen to how you feel, and go for it. Go
Yeah,
for it, and don't allow anybody to tell you that you can't, because you can.
yeah.
Work hard to, because you're going to have to work very
Going to
hard
work
to get
hard.
there. Nothing is the shortcut to become a nurse,
Right.
right? There is no shortcut, and with any profession, you have to work hard to get to where you want to be. And once you're there, don't have a big head. Stay humble, smile often, be kind to other nurses, be kind to other people,
Yeah, yeah.
and you will be remembered. You have a lot more of an impact, not just as a nurse, but as a person.
Mhm.
Um, from the every person that you encounter in your life as a nurse, being a nurse, and as a human being. So
Exactly. Exactly. Um that really is huge. And remembering, as you said, stay humble. Stay humble.
yes, very much. With anything, you just have to stay humble. And I think people uh, talk less of what you know and show it.
And
Show it more in actions, not
yeah, yeah,
in putting people down, and in more of uh, showing
yeah.
off that this is of course you're gonna get to all the experience, you're gonna have all your experience, and you're gonna become a very efficient, knowledgeable, and all that stuff, right?
Yeah,
When
yeah.
face the real nursing life, because that's all you do.
That's what
That's
you do.
become
That's what you
expert to it,
do.
what you do all the time consistently.
Yeah. And you find yourself using those skills actually in your daily life outside of your work, sometimes without even realizing that that's what you're doing. Like when you walk into a room and immediately you can sense and read the room, and see all everything that's happening in the room in a glance. And that's
Yes.
part of your nursing skills. That's part of
It's
what you develop immediately
yes,
assessing, you know?
your assessment skills.
Yeah, yeah, they're unique.
Very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we talk about this, but we're talking about the bullying, and how hard the work can be.
Mhm.
Both emotionally, physically, mentally, it can be very hard.
Yes.
I believe that some of that bullying and that burnout that we experience comes from, apart from the other things outside, comes from the fact that we're probably not taking care of ourselves the way that we should and could.
Mm-hmm.
So what does self-care mean to you?
Uh, Self-care is being able to, or you must do self-care. You must incorporate self-care, even if you're not a nurse, especially when you're a nurse,
Mm-hmm.
because we deal with a lot of stress. We prepare ourselves to go to work to face stress, right? So some in some ways you have to shut it down when you come home, or it's time to shut it down. You have to shut it down. And by what I mean by shutting down is you have to give at least an hour for yourself to either exercise,
Yeah,
get enough rest,
yeah, yeah,
in instead of watching or going out shopping, whatever. Not that it's not
Right?
a
Can be
self-care means,
yeah.
but yes, exercise and get as much sleep as you want. And just, I think too, if you also um incorporate the things that you do, that you're passionate about. Like for me, I tell you, for me, when I'm stressed, I sing. I
Okay.
sing. I find that when I sing, it just, I don't know what it is, how to describe it. I feel like it's more um powerful to me, and just to let go of things and just sing and forget about all the other stressful events that are occurring or are sitting there.
Yeah.
And once I do that, I kind of, shut things down, and then I'm able to do something else, exercise, get some rest, and eat healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a very important thing you just said. Is identifying what is the thing that works for you.
Yes.
Because not everything works for
Yes.
everyone, you know. Yeah.
Yes. And everything. What do you do for self-care?
Well, one of the most important things I do for self-care is take time in the morning for a cup of tea. Really.
Mhm.
I put that, I would say that first, almost above everything else. Um,
Yes.
I read quite a lot. I love to walk. I love to walk. So
Yes.
very often outside, and I'm very fortunate. I live fairly close to water. I love water. I love being close to water. The sound of water is like everything to me. If I can just go and sit close by water, I am good. So those things
Nice.
are really what, you know, soothe me. My books, my
Yes.
tea, water. If I have
Yes.
those, I am good. And I make sure
See?
that I have those.
Wonderful. See, those are all good things to do, so in self-care. And with these days, you can find like a very much of your time get taken over by a lot of other things
Yeah,
other than self-care.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's something that you have to put in your list, that I must have
yeah,
at
yeah,
least a
yeah.
little bit of time to do that, because that's very important.
And in Western society, especially here, I know in the United States, we tend to feel one of the ways to get ahead in professions and careers is to show everyone how hard we can work. We want to be the first one there and the last one to leave, and all of that. And when I worked, and I used to tell staff that I really am not impressed by that. You being
Mhm.
the first one there and the last one to leave does not impress me. Because what it tells me, or at least what I interpret from that, is that you're not managing your time properly. I
No.
want to see you come to work. I want to see you at work on time, but I do want to see you do what needs to be done in the time that's allotted to you and go
Mhm.
home.
Home.
I'm not,
Yes.
and so I'm not, but that is something that's kind of part of our psyche in
Mhm.
Western society, that to show that you're productive, you got to be there, or at least appearing to do more. That's very stressful. I can't live.
I know. I see people like I see
Yeah.
people that are like that too, and it's just, I don't know what it is. It's a devotion of the career. I mean,
I don't know, but there are people who boast, oh, I have 20, 40, 60 days of vacation time that I didn't take. And I'm like,
wow.
why? Why wouldn't you take it? If you worked, and if someone decided, well, we won't bother to pay you, you'd be very upset because you earned the
Mhm.
money. Well, you also earned the vacation time.
You also earn the vacation. Yes,
But
self-care. And
self-care.
then, and you notice that it's probably out of topic, but you notice that the people that are actually doing that, um, they look, it wears them down.
Yes,
Eh,
indeed. It most certainly does.
and they don't realize that. Unfortunately, they don't see that in the mirror.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there's so much you can enjoy in life, and as well, you can enjoy what you're doing
Yeah.
even better, more,
Yeah.
because you're much more restful.
Yeah. You're
and
more,
you have more energy, and then you can be a little bit nicer to your colleagues.
and yourself.
You're
Yeah.
not burned out.
Oh my goodness. Indeed, Jasmin. Indeed. Indeed. I would love, I really would love for everyone to just see that. But okay. Maybe one of these days. Um, what would you say is the one thing? What would, if you had to describe um the most essential quality of a nurse, what would you say that would be? One word.
uh, Compassion.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
That word comes up a lot. That word comes up a lot. And again, we recognize, I think, we recognize that we need to be compassionate. And I think that if you start out coming into nursing in the first place, you really do have compassion. You are compassionate. But I don't think we
Yes.
often understand that we need to extend that compassion beyond our patients to our colleagues and to ourselves.
To ourselves, yes. I think people have different meaning of compassion, or built their own meaning of compassion throughout their nursing career. Maybe from the beginning they're very much more compassionate with others, and for their colleagues, but then the burnt out and stress and all that adds up. I think they kind of establish a different meaning of compassion. And
Yeah.
but compassion doesn't change. It's the same from the start till the end, and
Yeah.
it's putting yourself in the shoes of others and be willing to do something to help and to provide a positive impact on others' lives. And that's what we're supposed to be good at.
Yeah. And to do that to the very, very best of your ability, you know. Um, so
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe we do have to remember also that we're dealing with human beings, so sometimes with the very best of intentions, people
It's true.
don't,
It's true. That for sure. Like, with no doubt, uh there's different situations and types of people that we face, and not just patients, and the people that we work with,
people that we work with, yeah, the people that
right?
yeah,
And the expectations as well, the expectations of a workplace. How can you juggle 10 million or 10 tasks to be done in 20 minutes?
yeah,
It's impossible. It's
yeah.
impossible, right? And then you still have to maintain your compassion.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm glad you mentioned the expectation, because the expectation really is there's increasing expectation for nurses. I'm finding.
Too
Um,
much.
yeah, the workload is getting heavier, and then um, not that patients should be aware. I am absolutely all for patients being aware and fully aware of what's going on with them, what we're doing, how we're doing it, and all of that. But what comes with that awareness,
Mm-hmm.
is an expectation of things that you should do. And when
Mm-hmm.
you don't do it, or it isn't done in the way that people think that they should do it, that
Mm-hmm.
follows action on their part. And so now we practice. We practice what I call defensive nursing. We spend a lot of time documenting and doing stuff to we taking care of our residents, yes, but right after taking care of our residents, next thing our mind is protecting our license.
That's right.
You know,
And it's very, very easy to this, especially these days now,
yeah,
the expectations, like, to kind of manipulate it. And you can be doing like your best, your full best, and it still find ways to
yeah,
to see it in a different way,
yeah.
right? And the next thing you know is your license is at
There's a
risk.
problem. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Mhm.
And that's your livelihood. And so, you protect it. And sometimes that does get in the way of the care that you give.
Right, right.
All of those things we have to adjust to.
Just because we want to be a nurse.
Just because we want to be a nurse. Just because we want to be a nurse. So anyway, what would you say, last thing, what would you say is your greatest achievement so far? And no, it's not the last thing because I want to know what is your vision going forward.
Oh, okay. At this point in my career as a nurse, I am very, very thankful with what nursing gave me. And not just being an experienced nurse and being able to say I am an experienced nurse, not just that, but with everything, the good and the bad and the pain that I've experienced throughout, it really helped me became stronger.
Yeah.
And more able to find my real purpose as a nurse. Because at the end of the day, yes, it's your career. Yes, it's the path that we chosen. But at the end of the day, we have to go home to our loved ones. We have to be the best version of ourselves for the people that we care about and the people that care about us. And for us to realize that, and for us to be able to open to these possibilities of having a quality of life with the people that we love, we have to love what we do. And when it's time that we no longer love what we do because of all those things that we talk about, we start to question about, you know what, I had enough, I have enough, I am going to really find ways to do something. And for me, it's finding my purpose, why I became a nurse. What is it that I really wanted to pursue? And when I established and when I made the decision to pursue in my business on building, developing products for nurses, and I am so thankful, Dale, to be honest with you, that it is not just my idea. The fact that the executives and the nursing organizations, and I mean these are not small organizations
Right.
that I deal with, right? And I feel so blessed. I really am. So I actually wanted to cry when I talk about this because it means so much to me. I have a boss that inspired me to to pursue this, and this means so much to me because this is the reason why I became a nurse. I feel that it's my biggest achievement when I found what I really want to pursue from here on in. And that is to, and that ties up to your next question when you're saying that what's my vision.
Yeah.
Because that really ties that to that question because um I consider that my vision to see myself um uh pursuing more on my business and uh, getting it, providing it, or bringing it to the hands of other nurses. As many nurses as I can possibly hand it out to, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Because I know that they will appreciate it. One example that really makes me feel blessed every single day, and every time I hear people say this, when I get an email from nursing executives and they say positive things about my products, my nurse's tool bag, and they say, I really like your product, it's amazing, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something right. And that is such a, to me, that I think I have to keep working on it because I have a vision, and I want to see that happening. I want to see improve on or be more successful in my business.
Well, I get it because as you're talking, your big smile and your passion, I'm getting goose pimples.
Well, thank you.
I get it. I get it. I get it. Jasmin, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very, very much for doing this.
You're welcome. My pleasure, Dale.
I wish you so much success with this because I know that what you're doing is for the benefit of nurses and for the use of nurses and to make their lives just that much easier. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me. This is such a good thing what you do, and you give time for nurses to be able to tell their stories. Thank you. Thank you again for
My
this
pleasure.
opportunity.
My pleasure.
Bye.